Here we're going to look at ordered pairs and relations and take a look at their graphs and tables and ordered pairs. In the first section, you're asked to graph each ordered pair. Now, what's important to remember is that when it comes to an ordered pair, it is a pair of numbers. We refer to the first number in the pair as the x coordinate and the second one as the y coordinate. So the order that the numbers appear in, they matter. We call them x and y to refer to the x and y axes on the graph. The horizontal axis here is known as the x-axis, and this vertical axis is known as the y-axis. So when we see this point of 4, 2, that means that we're going to go over 4 units in the x direction and then 2 units in the y direction. So put your pencil on the origin where the two axes cross, and along the x-axis, the horizontal one, we're going to go 4 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's right here. Then we're going to go 2 units in the y direction. So we go up 1, 2. Once we're there, we put a dot. That signals the point 4, 2. And since this point is labeled with a letter, we're going to use that capital letter Q to label our point. So if we do it again with the point V being at 3, 7, that means we're going to go over 3 units and up 7 units. So again, start at the origin, at that 0 where they cross, and then always go side to side first. So we're going to go 3 units along the x-axis, 1, 2, 3 to right here. And then we're going to go up 7 units in the y direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And that's where we'll put our dot. Notice that we put that dot right where our 2 grid lines cross. Okay. Then we're going to label it as V. The last one, 0, 3, can be tricky for some people because when we're looking at the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate, the x-coordinate is 0. That means that we're going to start, again, at the origin. We always put our pencil where the 2 axes cross. And first thing we're going to do is go along the x-axis 0 units, which means we don't move our pencil at all. Then we're going to go up 3 units, 1, 2, 3. When we put our dot, make sure that you draw it right on top of the axis. All right, not off to the side of it, but right on top of that y-axis. And we're going to label that with our capital letter T. In the next section, we're going to kind of go in the opposite direction. Instead of being given the ordered pair and plotting the point, we're going to look at a point and describe where it is based on its ordered pair. So in problem number 7, we're looking for letter J, which is right down here. And we want to describe the ordered pair for where that point is, this point. Now remember, our ordered pair is going to be 2 numbers, where the first number is the x-coordinate and the second number is the y-coordinate. So if we were to start at the origin and go over first, then up, we see that we would go over 4 units. That means along the x-axis, our x-coordinate is 4. And it only took us 1 unit to get up to point J, so our y-coordinate is 1. If we're going to do that on point X, which is right here on the y-axis, starting again back at the origin, we see that we don't have to go to the side at all. Our point is right on top of the y-axis, so we actually move 0 units over, and then we go up 7 units. So the y-coordinate is 7. And in number 9, we are asked to identify the point R, which is right here. Again, think about over and up. How far do we go over and how far do we go up? Starting at the origin, to get to point R, we're going to go over 2 units and up 2 units. That means our ordered pair is the point 2, 2. In the last section of this worksheet, we're asked to first express each relation as a table and a graph. The relation is given right here as this collection of ordered pairs. Now we remember that every ordered pair has the x-coordinate come first and the y-coordinate come second. So when I'm looking at this point 0, 2, the x-coordinate is 0 and the y-coordinate is 2. For the next point, 4, 6, the x-coordinate is 4 and the y-coordinate is 6. And the last point, 3, 7, the x-coordinate is 3 and the y-coordinate is 7. Now we have all three of the ordered pairs in the relation written as a table. Next, we want to express that relation as a graph. So if we're looking at the point 0, 2, just like before, we start at the origin, and our ordered pairs always tell us to go over first and then up. So how far do we go over and how far do we go up? Starting at the origin, on my first point, I go over 0, so I don't move at all, and then I go up to right here. That's our first point. Now, this point doesn't have a label to it, so we're just going to leave the point there and not label it at all. In the next ordered pair, it's 4, 6, meaning we start at the origin, and we're going to go over 4 and up 6. That's where we'll put our dot. And the last one is 3, 7. That means go over 3 and up 7. It's right here. I'm going to erase these extra lines because our relation should only be this collection of 3 points. This one, and this one. We don't need to connect them at all. Now, the second thing says to determine the domain and range. Let me just write those two down. The domain and the range. When we're talking about domain, technically the domain is the set of all of the x values, all of the inputs. So how we would write the domain is we just list them as 0, from right here, 0, 4, and 3. And we use these braces around it to signal that that's the set that we're talking about. So, similarly, when we're talking about the range, if the domain is all of the x's, then the range is all of the y's. So I'm going to write out the set with all those y coordinates of 2, 6, and 7. And that's it. There's another tricky problem on the back side of the worksheet here. In problem 17, it says to graph the 3 points 2, 1, 2, 4, and 5, 1. So let's do that. If we take them one at a time, 2, 1 means we start at the origin and we go over 2 and up 1. So we'll put a dot right there. The next one is 2, 4, so we still go over 2, but this time we go up to 4. And the last one is the point 5, 1. So over 5, up 1. These are our 3 points. We don't need these anymore. Then in part A, it says connect those points. So draw straight lines connecting those 3 points. And it asks what figure is formed. Well, if I got 3 lines that meet each other, that's a triangle. In part B, it says multiply everything by 2. So that means when I have these points of 2, 1, and 2, 4, and 5, 1. All right, now we're supposed to multiply everything by 2, which means that when we're looking at this first ordered pair, that x-coordinate of 2 gets multiplied by 2, which will give us 4. And the y-coordinate of 1 gets multiplied by 2, so that's 2. In the next point, when we double 2, that's 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. And in this last point, 5 times 2 is 10, and 1 times 2 is 2. Now that everything's doubled, we need to plot those 3 points and connect them just like we did in the first part. So for 4, 2, we start at the origin, go over to 4, and then up 2. That puts the point right here. For 4, 8, we go over 4 and up 8. It's right here. And then the last point, 10, 2, we're going to go all the way over to 10 and then up 2. Connecting these 3 points, we see that again, we do get a triangle. It's the same kind of triangle, but the only difference is that it's bigger and it's in a different place. That's what we're supposed to do in part C, where it says compare the two figures you drew. Write a sentence that tells how the figures are the same and how they're different. But when I look at the blue triangle and a red triangle, they're both triangles. They're both the same type of triangle. But they're different because the red triangle is bigger and it's in a different place. So I've just gone through about half of most of your worksheet, and I've left the rest of it for you to do. So go back to the front side of your worksheet and finish up those problems in the same way that I did on the video here. And problems 18 and 19 are all review problems, and you can practice simplifying expressions and writing expressions as we have done in the past.